Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. I got too much going on. I knew there was something happening when the only thing I hear is the iPad. I can't hear anything. Wait a minute,
Oh,
hold on.
okay.
Like, what is happening? Why can't I hear anything? I don't understand. Hold on. I don't even see the speakers showing up. Hold on. Because I know I got to have these earphones in order to hear you without the echo. Hold on. Let's see. Okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Happy New Year.
I can hear you. We'll use these. Forget that other stuff. Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, let me get rid of this banner. I said, wait. And then the other thing, let me tell you what the other thing was. The timer froze. So I'm like, oh my God, what time? So I'm waiting to see. We having technical glitches. And I know why. I know why. Because we celebrate. But anyway, Happy
That's
New
right.
Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Good morning, Renita. Happy 2024. Correct, correct, correct. Yes, yes, yes. So how was your week, sir?
It was nice and quick, like I knew it would be because of Monday being a holiday, and
Mm,
I was here for
you was here for it all.
it.
I love it. I love it. Mine was, it was the same. It tried to pick up like Thursday. Like I said, what? Time out. We still we just getting into we courting right now. This is a courtship right now. We ain't even dating yet. We just courting. But other than that, everything was good. Everything was good. All right, all right. Let's get this party started. Good morning, Crafty Coder. Happy 2024 and happy 100. Yes, yes. All right, all right. Let's see. Like I've been up all day, all morning, trying to get all this stuff. Okay, wait. Did you see my intro though? Were you paying attention to the intro though? I had a whole new intro.
The countdown?
The intro, not the countdown. Countdown was the same. Intro was totally different. See, you done missed the whole point of it all. You're gonna have to go back and look. The intro was totally different. And that's what I've been working on
Okay.
all night. Okay. Good morning, Vicky. Vicky, good morning, and happy new year. Happy new year. All right. I'm so glad y'all here with me, rocking on this. We got snowy
Ooh.
Saturday. It's light. It's nothing major, but it's snow nonetheless. So welcome to our Saturday morning tea where we discuss health information, news, education, certification tips, entrepreneurship, all the foolishness that we know is to come in the year 2024 and the revenue cycle at large. As you come in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button, or you can even tell us where you're checking in from. That'll be great. We can see we got Florida snow. Look at it. See, you just talked about how cold it was last week in Florida, and now y'all got snow. See, while you was teasing us in tank tops, now you need a whole coat. All right, all right. So, where are my notes? Okay, so I'm Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, the founder and senior education director of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, where coding education is key. All right, Atlanta is in the house. PRN is a healthcare compliance consultancy located in Cincinnati, Ohio, that specializes in revenue cycle and regulatory compliance in education. Now, let me ask you, do you know what it takes to be a certified marketable medical coder? Do you? Do you think you do? Well, before I introduce my co-host, let me share with you information on a free email course on the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Are you interested in medical coding? but not sure where to start, and scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder. All right. So if you are interested in getting more information on the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder and you missed the link, you can check out the link in the video description box. It's in there, I promise you. So joining me today is my co-host, Mr. Jesse, the registered trademark. Put some respect on his name. Who is out here in these streets, in these health information streets, trademarking their name? Who? I swear you are a man of one. Who is out here doing that? Anyway, the coding nurse. Sir, well, introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2024. My name is Jesse. I live in Philadelphia. I have been in healthcare for 30 years. In 2014, I transitioned into HIM. And then during the pandemic in 2020, I created a company, the Coding Nurse LLC, where I help nurses and other healthcare professionals with clinical backgrounds transition into the wonderful world of HIM.
Yes, sir. And isn't it wonderful?
It is.
Isn't it wonderful? I love it. All right. So before we get started and jump into our conversation today, let me remind you that, again, this is a conversation, and that conversation includes you. So don't be shy. You can join in and add to the conversation. Your opinion matters and is welcomed here. For everybody who's joining us via Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, you know what to do. Use the chat. If you have a question, make sure you put a Q in front of it so that we know that it is actual question and we don't miss it. You know, we speak it into existence when we have thousands of viewers on our Saturday morning tea. So if we get folks into practice of doing it now, we'll be prepared. You know, I like to be proactive, not reactive, right?
That's right.
Right. So for those who are joining us or watching the replay, today we're talking about more medical coding exam changes. I don't know. 2024 seems to be the year for everything to turn on its head, but we'll talk more about that. But first, let's get into our church announcements. You already rocking, I see you. And what I didn't do was put together this part, but it's coming. But you can even see my little Saturday morning tea with us. Here you go. That's too cold for fanning. Let me fan lightly, or I have a flu or something.
I'm going to have to come up with something for church announcements with this music for first Saturday.
Okay.
First Saturday of every month. Look
at you, bringing in content. I'm mad at you. All right. I think I got my fingers. Yes, I was looking for them. There's the church fingers. Yes. All right, y'all. All right. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean I saw you rocking there. So my only church announcement is welcome everyone to our 100th episode. Yes. I'm so excited. I am so grateful. I am so all of the things. I am over the moon excited. 100 episodes. That's a lot. That is a lot. Somebody had to tell me the other day, like, I'm so proud of you. You stuck it out. You stuck in. You kept going. I said, I tried. She said, no, you succeeded. You did it. You did a thing, a whole thing. 100 episodes. And I couldn't have done it without you all. I guess I could have talked to myself, but I like talking to people. And I definitely could not have done this without my co-host, Mr. Jesse. We've come a long way from Clubhouse, but here we are, and still trucking along and still providing information and resources and content and things to help those in our profession. And ultimately, that has been the goal from day one. Ever since I first started my YouTube channel, was to provide information and provide people with things that they need to be, of course, a certified marketable medical coder, but just to be a better health information professional across the board. So I thank you. I thank you. Now, I didn't do a mimosa for real, for real. So it's a mock mimosa, or it's like LaCroix, coconut water, and pineapple juice, and a little apple, orange mango. But it's all the same. So cheers, everyone, and thank you all for what. Look at you with your cup for 100 episodes, and may the Lord bless us with hundreds more. All right, all right, yay,
Definitely.
yay, yay. Oh, that's good. That's real good. I may have to sip on that before. I got my tea here, but wait, I may.
Yeah.
Ooh, wait. That did something to my spirit. All right, all right. Mr. Jesse, do you have, that's the only church announcement I have. Do you have any church announcements?
I just want to echo the same sentiment. I mean, it's just amazing that, I stumbled into your room during the pandemic, and it's just been uphill. I mean, just been smooth sailing and progress ever since. I mean, it's just been, I was just so pleased to find like-minded people, because like I say it all the time, and it really, really, really is true. Um, we're the only people out here really giving true content. Like, a lot of people talk about HIM and they talk about coding, but it's fluff.
Mm.
Like, they don't give you the real.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful to be a part of
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yes. Well, I'm glad. We've told the story before. My mom was like, "Who is that? Who is that man? I love his voice. Who is that man that I hear on Saturday mornings?" I said, "Well, okay, he has a cool, common voice, but then when he gets on 10, he keeps it calm, but he gives it to you raw and real, and I love that." So thank you all, thank you all. Let's see, you. Vicky says you guys are rocking with this channel. Thank you, Vicky. You have been a long time supporter, and we appreciate you. Miss Renita says yes, yes. Our on the street correspondent, the crafty coder, says, I got real mimosas over here, ma'am. If I didn't think it would impede me in any kind of way in sharing this information and being able to talk professionally before this crowd, I probably would too. But anyway, she said we got a rum shot of coffee over here. All right, get in it, get in it. I love this channel. It's truly part of my week. Thank you all. Thank you all. It's just been a blessing to have this platform, to create this platform. People have been talking about this, especially during the pandemic and after the pandemic. When people don't invite you to the table, you build your own table. And here we are, have built our own table and brought some extra chairs. We adding other tables. We about to have a whole room in here in a minute. So, and it's really because of you, because you all have supported us. You've added value. Trust me, I learned something. Even though I provide some information, like I said, it's a conversation because I learn from you all as well. And so, you giving us the additional information, sharing your stories, sharing your testimony, sharing, what you know to be true, and your experiences in health information helps us all. So I do appreciate, you being part of the conversation, joining us every week. Even if you're watching the replay folks are something else as well. So, sharing your comments, whether you're watching us on on my channel, whether you're watching us on Mr. Jesse's or on the Coding Nurse channel, wherever. We appreciate Facebook, LinkedIn. We see them all, and we appreciate you and what you bring to the Saturday morning tea. And so, as long as God continues to allow, we'll be here. We'll be here bringing you the information and all of the drama. We made our predictions. Mr. Jesse suggested that we do like a recap at the end of the year to see where we are with those predictions. So I'm even excited about that. The year ain't even started, and here I am, fast forward into December. But I know it's gonna bring all of us something, and something great, something fabulous. And so I look forward to just the journey. I look forward to the journey. And so we're gonna ride this till the wheels fall off, like I do almost everything that I do. Let's see. What's the any chance for no option questions in 2024? I don't know what no option questions are.
Yeah, me either. I saw it. I'm like, and it's not if it's no options. Okay, I don't know. We'll wait for further clarification.
Yeah, we'll see what's happening with that. I did Somebody asked me on one of the videos, the video I did for the CPC changes, whether or not there will be what was it called? Basically, that you had to answer the question, and if you don't answer the question, you got penalized, or negative response questions or something. And I responded back to him. There hasn't been any or information regarding that. They haven't said one way or the other if that's the way it's going. I do remember, like, years ago, once upon a time, probably early on, I think they had something similar to that, because everybody would always be like, answer every question, answer every question, answer every question. But I think they got away from that. I don't know if that's something that they're bringing back, though. What she got? The wheels falling off the bus, the truck, riding the train. Okay. All right, all right. So, any other church announcements, sir?
I have a class starting on Monday, January 8th.
I swear. And where can they find information? Is your class still open, or have you shut it down?
It's technically shut down, but I always have people who wait till the very last minute. It'll be somebody on Monday. Can I still join the class? Yes, if you hit that PayPal.
Where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money
Yes.
reside, where the money reside. Yes, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. And how can they get information about your class on Monday?
They can visit thecodingnurse.com, or they can follow me on Instagram, which is the coding nurse, and go to my link tree. There's all kinds of information available.
Yes. Now, what was that new freebie that you're giving out to folks?
I have a
It's like pulling teeth over here, y'all. Can y'all see it? It's not just me. Can y'all see it? Lord, come on, come on. Well, go
I
ahead.
have a free PDF, and it's titled "Navigating Next Steps for Nurses," but it's really for anyone
Okay.
who has, just like if you have taken anatomy and physiology or medical terminology a while ago and you don't know what to do with it, you can you can use this guide as a resource and plot out what your next steps are for 2024. But before we move on, I do want to say again, like I said last year, I really do believe that this, we have to, everybody sets goals in 2024. And we all have started, Clarice and I, and the Crafty Coder, and Renita, we started, our real entrepreneurship into the government contracting space last year. And I really, really would suggest or recommend, highly recommend, that everybody join Patreon, because we really, really, really are giving out information that you can get, but people will charge you up the wazoo for.
Yep.
And the name of the game is you have to have multiple streams of income. And why not join forces with the government and work for and with the government, and really, really be able to have a successful, thriving, business. and make contacts and be able to ultimately employ other people. So it is just a win-win all the way around. And
All
we
for
get,
the low price of a latte or something. I don't
yeah.
know. Per month.
I
That's
mean, it
it.
is so much information we share in the meeting after the meeting. So much.
And so, like again, with our Patreon, not only do you get the meeting after the meeting, but you also are privy to the documents that we have acquired. You're privy to webinars that we've been a part of or attended. You're privy to any information that we get that we share. Usually in the meeting after the meeting, you're privy to that. You are part of our. We have a document collection uh module that you are privy to, and so you can go in and receive, and you can share, so you can get what we give, but then you can also share what you have, and again, it's a community, it's a collective. Our Patreon is truly a collective where we are sharing knowledge and sharing information and sharing experiences. Like Mr. Jesse said, right now, beginning of the year, we focusing on those additional streams of income. We are focusing on entrepreneurship as well as making all of those things happen through government contracts. Also, to echo Mr. Jesse, I've heard a lot of people talk about government contracting. I've heard even some of the government contracting professionals who are with the government have talked and provided a lot of information. But how many of those people are being specific with healthcare and the types of opportunities we as health information professionals can go after? Not a whole lot, but we are. Every week in the meeting after the meeting, we provide you information regarding some of those opportunities that are available, some of the things that have already been available, and letting you know, well, maybe this is somebody you might need to partner with. This may be somebody you need to contact. So again, join us. The Patreon link is also in the video description. Whether you're watching LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, you can check it out and join us and get the link and join us in the meeting after the meeting. Yeah, I'm talking about you, and I never do the Patreon thing. Let's see. Patrice asks, "Can I still use 2023 books?" I didn't know if that was for your class or just in general, or
Um, in general, I say no.
I would say always use the current yearbook because of the changes.
Yeah,
If you are doing any type of testing for any medical coding exam, while they will allow you to use 2023 books, I always recommend use your 2024.
because I have a story to share real quickly. I had a student, I think it was 2022. Her class finished in July, and she waited. So I always recommend. I always tell people try to test no more than 60 days after the class finishes, like
Mm.
with because you while it's still fresh and
Mm-hmm.
while you're still on a roll in the habit of studying, just to get it out the way. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, for whatever reason, life be life, and they put it off. She waited until after the new um, guidelines came out and the new codes went into existence. Apparently, this was for the HCS-D, the home care coding exam. So apparently, they update their exams in October.
Mm.
And that particular year, I do remember they totally revamped dementia codes. They came out with all these additional dementia codes, and she failed her exam because they at that year they had like almost 400 new codes.
Mm.
And if you're not able to find them and you're not able to properly verify, like two or three questions really can make the difference of whether you pass or fail an exam. And I just don't recommend. I recommend that you test and use the book in the year that you finish your class. Or if you test in 2024, use 2024 books. If you test in 2025, use 2025 books.
I would agree. And that's right. They sometimes they change, but I think it also depends on the certification that you're sitting for. Because if you're doing any type of certification with ICD-10 or PCS codes, those go into effect in October, and they can change those early on in the new year. They won't. I doubt they change them. Well, they may. to your point with the home care thing, they may change them within that year, but they definitely have the option to change. But remember, everything is going electronic. So it makes it easier to update them and easier because you don't have to worry about, oh, we got to make sure this is right and get this printed and do these. But you don't have to worry about all of that. It's a map. It's keystrokes now, keystrokes and enter. So again, I would make sure that the most current books should be your jam. Now it's always fuzzy in the middle. I mean, at the beginning of the year, because sometimes they're navigating, which is what we're going to talk about today, with some changes that are going on with some medical coding exams. But again, it's a crapshoot. But I would still recommend using the current year exams.
And that is definitely a key point. You have to know when your organization's exams are updated, because like AHIMA example, prior to this, well, actually AHIMA changes, they update their exams every May 1st. So up until April 30th of this year, you can use a 2023 book. So you have to find out when your or when your credentials or body changes, they updates their exams, and then that'll let you know. I don't know. I thought AAPC was calendar year, and I think the Crafty Coder said that it's mid January. So
Yes, usually it's mid January. So because that's when they get the information on CPT, and so for CPC it's primarily about CPT, which becomes effective in January 1. And that, since that's the focus, that's when you can really pay attention to those cycles and make sure you have the updated stuff. And then, I mean, if you feel that your coding game is strong and you good and you don't care one way or the other, I mean, by all means go at it. But then just know that there's potential for some missed questions because you are using an older manual. I'll say that. So that's a gamble, and I'm not a gambling woman, so I try not to gamble at all. So yeah. All right. So let's get into our topic today. So like I said, we talked about what's happening with the AAPC. Well, we also got some information on what's going on over in the AHIMA camp as it relates to their coding exam, specifically the CCS, which I've never taken the CCS. I have taken the CCS-P, which is a little different, but because I'm always in the professional and or physician outpatient realm. But the CCS has been going through some rigorous changes, and they are beginning will begin its beta period on May 1st, 2024. And I think if you go out on the description box of the video, I think I put the link to the information from AHIMA there regarding it. But they're doing some changes. They're doing some changes as far as the content. They're doing some changes on what you need to know. They're doing a whole bunch of changes. I had a, wait a minute, let me pull up the document with, there's a whole document that outlines what those are. And yeah, let me open this up. Okay. Let me open this up. But thank you for those questions. I appreciate them.
While you're opening that up, Clarice, I have my CCS and my CCS-P, and they are very different.
Mm-hmm. I believe that to be true. Yeah, she said I wouldn't chance that them guidelines be changing for CPT. You're absolutely right. Let's see. She said, "Can you well, I'm pulling up, Mr. Jesse. Can you explain the differences of the different credentials and duties?" I think that will be a good topic one day because I'm a member, but I'm not credentialed with them. With AHIMA? Oh, we could do that. Definitely, definitely. Definitely. And I always, like, for my students, so y'all got me talking and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. For my students, I would always tell them to get a footprint in both. I mean, there's no harm, no foul. So for those that are relatively new or they've had some level of experience or exposure to coding and they're taking my exam, and oftentimes they're coming to me because they want to pass the CPC exam. And they know we go hard in the CPC paint. But I also tell them, if you just want to see and dip your toe over here in the water, get the CCA. And a lot of people be like, I don't think that's a great credential. I don't think that's, it means much and carries a lot of weight. But I've actually seen some places that said, if you have a CCA, even though they're requiring XYZ, they will consider you if you have a CCA, or they'll consider you, but then within a certain time frame, they may ask you to get an additional credential. So, but it shows your level of competency, and I just recommend it because it allows you to have both feet in both of the organizations, and you get some exposure to the world of AHIMA, but you get some exposure to coding, and there's also some. I believe there were some PCS questions on those CCA exams, so you get a little bit of it all with those. So I always say, why not? Why not? All right, all right. So let me share my screen. Oh, I should have put it over here. Let's do this. Okay. All right. Yay. Okay. So, put this down. So this was the content crosswalk that AHIMA put out regarding the CCS exam. It talks about what it measures, what type of knowledge you need to have, what you need to be proficient in, et cetera, regarding the CCS. And so they did an analysis for the professional certification. Does this one show? Oh no, it's on the website. So on the website, let me start with that, because I was like, oh, that's a little different. So the pass rates. So as of on the AHIMA's website, if you go to ahima.org/certification/CCS, the pass rates. Wait, let me see if I can show this. I guess I would need to put this over here. Y'all know I like to tell y'all versus and show y'all. I like receipts. See, I was gonna say something mean, but I'm not. I'm like Cat Williams. I like receipts. Okay, wait. Let's see. Stop screen share. Screen share. Okay. All right. So it says as of December 31st, 2022, there were 30,111 certified CCS professionals. In 2020, and this is just the US and Canada results, in 2020, there were 2,029 first-time testers, and the pass rate for those first-time testers was 73%. In 2021, there were 2,250 first-time testers, and that pass rate was 42%. So that I was like, well, wait a minute, what? I need to know what happened. That's That's huge. And then in 2022, you had so more people were taking it, 2,670, and then the pass rate went up a little bit to 55%. So I know we always talk about, and I think AAPC does the same thing, showing their pass rate, and it'd be like, that is that a good pass rate? I mean, is it intentional that these rates are these way? I don't know, but and I don't know um, if this analysis, okay, if this analysis is related to that as well. But anyway, so Mr. Jesse, you can jump in at any time.
Okay. So when it comes to pass rates, especially with AHIMA, I've said this before. They they don't have the best um study material.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that a study guide or an exam prep guide should actually mirror the exam. You don't have to have the exact same questions, but it should be the same type of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it really should mimic the exam. And for instance, if you like that, their exam prep book, because I got mine in 2020,
Okay.
their exam prep book is good for coding. But there are things on that exam, there are additional questions that is not, and that material is not covered in the exam prep. And some things you just have to know. Some things I was like, what is this? But I was able to figure it out because either through an educated guess or from prior experience. But a lot of it comes down to, well, any exam, and AHIMA especially, it called their exams are so guideline heavy. If you know the guidelines, you will pass. But it's not. I think that the way students are taught versus how they take the exam versus the exam content, I just don't think it matches up, and I think that explains the difference in the pass rates.
Okay. I agree with that. I think, and with a lot of exams, um, there's some, I mean, you have various levels of coding comprehension in the questions. So there'll be some that are, relatively easy. It's a real quick guideline uh, question, or it's a real quick, easy coding question, or as we've talked about, it can be something that you can easily eliminate if you know the guidelines, if you know what you're eliminating. But then there are others that may require some additional critical thinking skills, I guess, if you will, on your part. And so I think a lot of that is on the front end. So, and we've talked about this before, how people just want to test or teach to the test, or teach to, you know, and I'm speaking truly, well, I guess I've heard from AHIMA. I know I hear it all the time regarding AAPC, but they just want to, teach to the test, and it's bigger than that. The profession is bigger than just that test, because that test is a one-time event, hopefully, if not, or even if you've taken it multiple times, but clearly it does not equate to the experiences and the knowledge and what you would gain from being a professional in this industry. There's so many different things that you will acquire just even with your first coding position. You'll be like, well, wait a minute, well, I didn't know, well, what, and then just going from organization to organization, it's different. There are variances in all of that. So I think some of that emphasis for, I think if things are taught to the actual coding profession and not necessarily the the study guide, the prep, or the exam, it should be leveled off in that portion of it. You would think. You would hope. But unfortunately, that may not necessarily be the case, and that's why you probably also see some of these rates. Um, but I was like, well, that wouldn't be something that I would be proud of. I mean,
But you know what? But that's not. I don't know.
unless they just want you to see the level of difficulty it takes to get this certification. I mean, that may be a different spin on it as well. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
But I think that it really is. I don't think that those pass rates or even AAPC pass rates are a reflection of the organization. I think it is a reflection of the education.
Exactly. That's my point. That's
Because
my point.
what is so different about um, HIM versus nursing? Because in nursing school, if you don't pass tests, if you don't have a certain score, they literally kick you out because their whole accreditation base is based on first time pass rate.
Mm.
So if you have people who barely get by, if you have a whole class who barely gets by and struggles, and your pass rate is below the national average, they're looking at your program. And then after so long, your program will be suspended. It won't be, it'll lose its accreditation. So I think that the problem with HIM is they don't teach people how to code. They teach people how to take a test. And when you take a coding test, because I'm like, I don't even talk about it anymore. You know, I was on that soapbox and I was on Clubhouse about the college here where I was a tutor. And I stopped because wait a minute. Why am I a tutor teaching guidelines? And the actual professor is not even teaching guidelines. When I asked him, I said, well, did you read the guidelines? They didn't even know where they were in the book. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. You don't pay me enough to do this.
Mm-mm. No. And that's so unfortunate. Um, that people spend so much money on some of these and not just your regular run of the mill coding and billing programs, but it's some other programs. It's some accredited programs out here playing that same game. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everybody could get it. Everybody could get it. And so I think that's just so unfortunate that people are getting caught up in that fray and in that mess. Okay. So here we have, they were just talking about how they went through um, conducting the study. So they had subject matter experts filling out a questionnaire regarding the task. They had an exam development committee who looked at those questionnaire results and determined whether new tasks should be added or existing tasks should be edited in the content outline. They revised the content outline um, and incorporated into the job analysis survey. And then this survey was administered to practicing professionals to collect ratings on the importance and frequency of the use of each task. Then an exam specifications panel, which was comprised of the exam development committee as well as subject matter experts, reviewed the survey results, data, and input received from the practicing professionals to develop an updated content outline and revise the exam specifications. And then the updated content outline and exam specifications were presented to CHM, which is the Commission on Certification for Health Informatics and Information Management. Everybody should know them by now after all of the drama, for review and approval. um, and so the results from that job task analysis indicated that the 4 original domains remain relevant for a CCS practicing professional and that much of the tasks expected by a CCS remain appropriate. A new 5th domain, which was information technologies, was added to the content outline with 4 relevant tasks. And so a total of 8 new tasks were added. 1 task was removed or combined into other tasks, and several of the subtext was revised throughout for clarification. So additionally, the number of items allocated to each domain, time allotted to complete the exam, and eligibility requirements or recommendations were reviewed and discussed. And it was determined that the number of items allocated to each domain will be updated according to Table 1, no change was made to the amount of time allotted to complete the exam, and the number of total items was updated per Table 2. And then the eligibility and requirement recommendations were reviewed but not updated for the exam. So Table 1 shows the changes in items allocated to each exam or each domain of the content outline. So here you have coding skills and knowledge. There were 50 items allocated in the previous exam format. In the new exam format that will start with the beta testing on May 1st, 2024, it went to 38 to 40 items. For coding documentation, there were 10 previously. It's gone to 17 to 21 items. Provider queries was at 9. It's gone from 9 to 11. Regulatory compliance was 28. It's gone down to 17 to 21. Information technologies didn't exist before, and they have added 9 to 11 questions there. The type of item, they have multiple choice items and case scenario items. Operational scored 79, pretest unscored is 7. Case scenario items, there are 18. Pretest unscored 3, for a total of 97 for the operational items. Pretest, there are 10, and there are a total of 107 items on the exam. And then it again tells you that this will roll out May 1st, 2024. This goes into the 2020 CCS content outline mapped to the 2024 content outline. So the first 2 columns are what was the 2020 exam content or prior to this new content. And then these 3rd and 4th columns lists what the changes, well, what is now going to be part of the 2024 content information. And then the final column on this table, Table 3, just tells you what the change is. And some of them are, like this updated, applied to assign. So, those types of things. But then some of them are actually where they've changed some things. And like this one, determine principal primary diagnosis and procedure. They've identified principal first listed diagnosis and procedure based on the respective guidelines. That's some guideline changes that have occurred with that. So they've made the appropriate changes on this outline for the test. Again, updated, applied to attach. Sequence diagnoses and procedures. Determine appropriate sequencing of diagnoses and procedure codes based on the case scenarios. This was updated. They updated the wording to give more clarity about coding from case scenarios. So you know that you will be actually coding from scenarios in this case. Address coding edits. Demonstrate knowledge of coding edits, meaning your NCCI, your medical necessity edits. And it says demonstrate knowledge of and gave examples of coding edits. This one, assign reimbursement classifications, demonstrate knowledge of reimbursement methodologies, for example, DRGs and APCs. This one, updated pertinent to applicable. Abstract pertinent here, data from health record. This is abstract applicable data from the health record. Prior, recognized major complications or comorbidities, or MCCs, and complication and comorbidity, CCs. And this is recognize major complications, comorbidities, MCCs, and complication and comorbidity, CCs. So updated, recognized to identify. They didn't change that. They were supposed to, this supposed to be identify, I guess. They didn't change it on the table. And updated wording to current industry terminology. Yeah, this all looks the same. They need to change that. We can write in and tell them. You heard it first here. um, domain 2, which is the coding documentation. Oh, I'm sorry. So this was domain 1, which coding knowledge and skills, which is 39 to 40% of the questions. Coding documentation is 18 to 22%. Review health record to assign diagnosis and procedure codes for an encounter. There was nothing changed here. I'm sorry, they removed this because it was already covered in domain 1, task 1, 2, and 5. So it was redundant. This one was number 2, which now number 1, review and address health record discrepancies. It says resolve conflicting documentation in the health record. So that's what you will be required to do in this section. You also had 2 additional tasks. Ensure all required documentation for assigning a specified code is available within the body of the health record, and verify and validate documentation within the health record. Those are definitely tasks that you as a coder should know what and how to do. In domain 3, the provider queries, a new task was identify elements of an ethical complaint query, and then determine if a query or provider query is compliant. Should they say compliant? It probably should. That's another typo. Compliant. For example, is it non-leading, contains appropriate clinical indicators, etc. You could have wrote this. Did they call you?
No.
And analyze current documentation to identify query opportunities. That was the same. Next domain is regulatory compliance. Ensure integrity of health records. This is ensure completeness and accuracy of health records. Apply specific guidelines. This one says understand payer-specific guidelines. Next is recognize patient safety indicators or PSIs and hospital-acquired conditions or HACs based on documentation. Updated, recognized to identify and added providers documentation. So based on providers documentation. Nothing changed with 4 and 5. 6, updated, apply to ensure compliance with versus just the apply. So ensure compliance with the uniform hospital data discharge data set. And then domain 5 is the brand new one. First task is distinguish various types of electronic health records, demonstrate a basic understanding of encoding and grouper software, exhibit an understanding of computer-assisted coding software and its impact on coding, and ensure compliance with high-tech guidelines. So those would be some things that will even be helpful for you if you are an educator or you have a training program or a coding program, to make sure that you include information technologies in your program. Mr. Jesse?
I'm going to be nice because it's the new year, but the bottom line is
Be you.
the bottom line is you just need to learn how to code properly, and you have to learn the guidelines. That's it, and that's all.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. She said, "Oh, a minute. Oh, pair specific guidelines. Awesome. APC isn't doing that one on CPC. Maybe the CPB does.
It doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Because payer-specific guidelines are too specific to put on an exam.
That's true. That is true. Cool. So that's what folks have to look forward to as it relates to the beta testing. So part of the beta testing, if you are going to take your CCS during that time, there will not be immediate scoring. So there will be some time between the end of the examination period and the release of the scores to the candidates, which will be up to 10 weeks. So be mindful of that if you are taking a CCS exam in 2024 during the beta period. And they're going to use this beta process to, again, ensure the validity and reliability of all of the new questions. And it's just, the beta period is going to allow time for a sufficient number of exams to be completed and the results of the new questions to be properly evaluated.
But before we move on, I just wanted to say, like, you know, before there was no crossover between a HEMA and an AAPC for the most part. Like AAPC was strictly outpatient and a HEMA was known for inpatient. Like you had to have your CCS to work inpatient. That's because the CCS was the only exam that had PCS on it.
Correct.
And inpatient, you have to use PCS.
Mm-hmm.
So now, in my honest opinion, now that AAPC has come out with their CIC, I don't really see a need for the CCS because it is a very intense exam because you have to know all three major code sets, but you will never use all three major code sets at the same time. You really have to pick a lane in this HIM world, whether you're going to be inpatient or outpatient, and there's very little, if any, overlap. Let's just be honest.
Right.
So,
even though they tried to do that thing where, it was like cross training or people, it's a whole lot to even get your mind to shift from, okay, I'm doing some inpatient work to, okay, now you have handed me some outpatient work in my queue. Like, yeah.
Because if you want to learn, if you want to work inpatient, like I just had a class just finished in in like October, somewhere around that. So one of my students just in these, like around Christmas, just passed her CIC. And now she's interviewing for CDI positions or inpatient CDI. Because I tell all my students, like, if you're trying to work inpatient, there's no need for you to try to learn another code set that you're never going to use. It's not like it's not like the inpatient coders even do leveling. Like they don't use E&M at all. So there's really, so why go through the burden of learning an entire code set that is so radically different from what you'll be doing inpatient? Because, and it's just, I don't know if what AHEMA is going to do to address it, because in the beginning, like everything, it takes time. It has to catch on. Now I see CIC credentials in inpatient, even CDI opportunities. So it's beginning to get some traction, and it makes sense. Like it is, because the CCS it's an intense exam because, like, again, that's the only exam that tests you on all three major code sets, because HCPCS is really not it's not a code set for real, for real. It's more like
don't do that. To treat them like a little step down.
It's a companion to the CPT. They are in conjunction, and that's another thing to mention. On the CCS, you don't use HIC. There's no HCPCS questions at all, unlike the CCS it's the CCS-P and the CPC.
Yeah. And so that's why it's always important, if you're considering medical coding as a career, it's always important to get an understanding of where you want to fit in this. Do you want to be an inpatient? Do you want to be an outpatient? Do you want to strictly be professional? There's differences and things that you would be. Do you want to just do surgeries? I mean, it's totally different in all of the realms, and making sure or kind of have an idea or have some exposure or experience to what it is, so you can better guide your study and your dollars, because you spending money in these different places, and if they're not providing you what it is that you need based on where you're trying to go, then that's a waste of time, money, and energy. So it's really, really important that you all know that what it is that you're trying to do, and it's important to ask the questions. Let's say that you may not even know what the questions are, but tell people, hey, I think I like this, or ask them, well, can you explain to me what the differences are? Can you explain to me, what each of these do? Can you explain to me what these certifications are, similar to what the Crafty Coder asked us today? So yeah, we'll definitely put together. I guess we'll do that next week. Y'all done kind of took away what it is I need to do for this week, so we can put together some information related to that. Because yeah, they all over the place. And then the crazy part is with these organizations, Lord, they in everything. They want to be everything to everybody. And I
And
mean, you can't be mad at them for that. I
no,
mean, if you see somebody, we already got you over here, well, let's keep you. It's like Netflix. We gonna keep showing you the stuff that you like. So we gonna keep giving you the different thing. Oh y'all, oh now y'all want to do this? Okay, well we got something for you over here to do this. So do it with us.
excuse me. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to waste time nor money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's really why I came up with the coding nurse, because you have a lot, like 'cause I have coders all the time, or nurses all the time will say, I just want to get I want to get into medical coding. Well, what do you want to do? I want to work from home. Okay, but work from home doing what? Then when I ask them, do you want to work inpatient, outpatient? Do you want to do auditing? Do you want to do CDI? They have no idea what any of these things are, nor what you have to do to qualify for either position or any position. That's all they know. And that's I've always said it. That's AHEMA and AAPC's problem, because they really should be out there in the forefront, really putting out information to the public to make them aware of what it is they do and the difference. And you have to get in it to really realize how vast it is
Mm-hmm. And
and
I
how.
actually go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I do have one of the weeks. I think it's module 3 in my class where I do break down, because people sometimes they don't even know that there's, well, at least the two major organizations, because we got a couple of other hybrid stepchildren out here in the world that, trying to get in where they fit in as well. But I dedicate the time to break down the two organizations and talk a little bit about the history, what one used to be, what the other one used to be, and now how some of those lines have been blurred and crossed. And then go through, specifically, I don't do all of the certifications. I'm only focused primarily on the coding one, since you're in a coding class to be a certified marketable medical coder. And so I break those down so people can get a better understanding and feel for what it is. And then it really comes down to what your preference is, what you like. Cause see, like we joke and kid about, PCS or ICD-10 versus CPT. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people love PCS or ICD-10. Some people hate it. So if that's your strong suit and you be like, yeah, this is the jam, then there's a lane for you to then, go in. Or if CPT is your thing, there's a lane. Or if you just like the surgeries, or if you just like E&M, because even CPT can be broken off into multiple different specialties just in and of itself. So you just got to know what your jam is. Manita said it's kind of
Ex-
like nursing. You got to pick what area you want to go into, L&D, peds, oncology, etc. Exactly, it's the same thing. So while they have all of those specialties, they have codes for all those specialties. They have coders who are mastered, and I know AAPC specifically have those
yeah.
in some of those areas, certifications specific to those areas. So historically, you had to have your CPC before you can then go into some of the specialty coding. Now you don't. You can go directly into those specialty areas, but you still need to know how to code.
Right.
You still need to know you have that foundation and the fundamentals of coding and being able to apply guidelines and coding information based on your code books, based on the documentation. You still need to be able to execute that in those specialty areas. So,
I had a nurse reach out to me, I guess maybe a year or two ago. She worked in labor and delivery for 25 years. And she's talking, she said, I don't know what to do. I said, well, have you ever heard of, a certified OBGYN coder? She said, no. Had no idea. She was talking about CPC. I said, "Well, you don't need your CPC. As you have you're an expert in OBGYN at this point with 25 years." I said, "You have no idea that if you got your OBGYN certification through AAPC, how much money you could make? You could become a subject matter expert on obstetrics and gynecology. You could go work or do patient and provider education all across this country, and people have no idea what is available. And that's the one thing where AAPC really, 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 craps on a HEMA, because those specialty certifications are really specialty, and they really can, because like that auditing certification that AAPC has, it's a freaking game changer. It really, really is. I mean, because they drill down in those specialties. Like I never knew so much about civil monetary power penalties and this law and that law and how
Well,
you.
me as a compliance professional does because I have that certification. But
No,
yeah, and
but
it mirrors that. So you
right,
so you have receipts to say, hey, this is why you don't do this. This is
exactly.
why the regs are the tasks that you are doing relate to this because of the rules or regulations that surround it. So yeah, it's
Yep,
your why. Why am I doing this? Because the rules and regs say this. Yep,
yep.
all day, all day. All right, all right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. I hope this was helpful for you, especially if you are considering taking a CCS exam. So both AHEMA and AAPC are out here in these streets changing their coding coding exams. So be mindful, be armed with the information and the knowledge so that you can prepare yourself, govern yourself accordingly, as they used to say, as you get into this. Um, so let's see. Oh, I had another church announcement. So this week I will be dropping a video on this wonderful toolkit that the OIG dropped for managed Medicare Advantage organizations and those high risk diagnoses. It's the bomb.com. So check out the video this week on that as well.
Is it the same 10 high risk diagnoses they've had for the past 10 years?
It probably is, but they got some stuff. Well, they do talk about the same ones, but they giving you SQL codes to put into your programs. Sir,
What?
this ain't no joke. The OIG is now they already done told you a gazillion times. Now they're giving you the tools that they use to find the stuff so you can find it so you can correct it before it gets to them. They laying it all bare at your feet. It's
Get
the
out
bomb.
of here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ooh, I
So
can't wait.
check out my video this week.
Sure will.
I
Can't
will give
wait.
you all the tea. I will give you all the tea with that. Okay. So again, thank you all for checking us out. And joining us either live or checking out the replay. Was the tea spilled today? The tea and the mock mimosas and all of the things that we had today. If
We
this
spill it every week.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
As a we spill it every week.
Every week. I have a little teapot that goes with a little teacup. I might be just spilling tea like that. Maybe I'll do
We
that
will
too.
have to put up a daggone advisory at the beginning of our videos. Hot tea could be spilled. Be
Wait a
careful.
minute, let me write this down. I like that. Wait a minute, see, you're gonna make me go in here and change the thing again. All right. So make sure you go out and watch it too. It was cute. All right. If this information was valuable for you, help us to share this message with others by sharing the video, subscribing to the channel. Be sure to follow us for information on all things health information, compliance, revenue cycle, and medical coding. And as you leave, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. Also, run over and check out the Coding Nurse channel on YouTube and his Instagram channel as well. This has been a great session, y'all. It's the 100th episode. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Thank you all for being part and joining with us today and being part of the conversation and all of the things. Mr. Jesse, did you have any final last words?
No, I'm just looking forward to next week and just this year to come. Like, oh, and I in April I celebrate my 10th year in HIM. So,
Look at you. Look at you. All right. So Miss Vicky said very helpful information. Thank you, Clarice and Jesse. Good hot tea today. Yes, consistent tea. Yes, yes, consistent. And every week piping hot. Yeah, you will get the advisory. Be careful. We don't want to be sued like McDonald's. No.
mm,
For giving you something that was too hot. Too hot to handle. Too hot to handle. Yes. Okay. So again, thank you all. Remember, be safe, be kind, and don't wish for it, work for it. Until next time, take care. For those joining us in the meeting after the meeting, you should have received the link over in Patreon. So we'll see you shortly. Bye-bye.
bye bye.